So this madrasa controversy in Assam and then now slowly spreading to Uttar Pradesh has become a raging controversy between the BJP on the one side and the opposition. Leading the opposition's charge on this is the Member of Parliament from Hyderabad and the President of the MIM party, Mr. Asaduddin Owaisi. Thank you very much, Mr. Owaisi, for speaking with us here on CNN News 18. I'll start with what happened in Assam. Yesterday, the Assam government demolished another madrasa, this time in Bongaigaon district. It is the third madrasa in the state that was demolished by the government. The police are clearly saying that they have found links between these institutions and Al-Qaeda, the dreaded terror outfit. If these are being demolished for their links with terrorist organizations, then what is the problem, sir?
Now let me become very personal to Zaka Jacob. I hope you won't mind. This is just to make your viewers understand. If tomorrow any employee of CNN, IBN, God forbid, has links with Al-Qaeda, should the government come and demolish your office? Please tell me, is that allowed? No, that is not allowed. You will suspend that person from your organization. You will tell the government, yes, go ahead, arrest him and get him convicted. But what right does the Assam government has to demolish a madrasa? If they have violated the municipal laws, give them notice. That is the basic demand of principles of natural justice. Hear them out. Give them some time. You become the judge and jury and you demolish a madrasa just because of one person arrested. Yes, we condemn any person who has links with any terrorist organization. But demolishing a madrasa, I was hearing a reporter while I was waiting for you to come.
Yes.
She has rightly pointed out that the people over there are worried about the madrasa being demolished.
No. So the question is that the Assam police are saying that it was not just one individual. They believe, and of course this has to be proven or disproven in a court of law, but they believe they have evidence to show that the institution itself was being used for terrorist activities. Now you use the example, since you made it personal, I'm asking you, if an institution is being used, then should that institution be allowed to continue?
Listen to me. Even if the institution is involved, let us assume,
okay,
is alleged to be involved. You cannot say is involved. Alleged to be involved. That is the right word. If alleged to be involved, you protect that as evidence. You don't demolish it. Tomorrow when the case will come up in the court, I will tell as a prosecution, this is the proof. This is how they used to use it. You demolish the whole evidence. Why do you do that? Because you don't have evidence, or you want to protect the evidence?
Okay, now let me come to the other state, the state of Uttar Pradesh, which is also planning to bring in a new law to regulate madrasas across the state. The deadline was supposed to be today. They've extended it to September 10th. Now, many are asking, what is wrong if there is a law to regulate madrasas, if madrasas have to be registered with a government authority, if companies have to be registered, partnerships have to be registered, trusts have to be registered, schools have to be registered, then why should madrasas not be registered?
Well, you see, for companies, you have company law. For trust, you have a trust law. Madrasas are protected under Article 30 of our Indian Constitution, which is a fundamental right. Even the Right to Education Act is not applied on madrasas or minority private schools which don't get any aid from the state or central government. My objection is very clear. This is a targeted survey against one particular community who happen to be Muslims. Why shouldn't such a survey be done for Vidya Mandirs, for Saraswati Shishu Mandir? Why shouldn't such a survey be done for private schools in Lucknow? Why shouldn't a survey be done for all the government schools in Uttar Pradesh, especially girls' schools? How many toilets are there? How many drinking water facilities there? How many electricity connections are there? Why should a survey be done to find out that in Uttar Pradesh basic education 75,000 teachers vacancies are there? In secondary education 32,000 vacancies are there. That is why I have said that this is nothing but a small NRC is being done against those madrasas, Zaka, which get no aid. And last point, you talk about survey. There are madrasas which are registered under Uttar Pradesh Education Madrasa Board, which the government pays the salaries.
Yes.
In 5 years, the Yogi government has paid only 5 months' salary. You have only paid 5 months' salary.
No, but Mr. Owaisi,
you can't discharge your responsibilities over there.
Isn't it a legitimate question to ask that if some of these madrasas are asking for funds from state, even if it is a small amount, and even if they are not, the basic premise is even minority educational institutions which are protected under Article 30 are registered with the state. Convent schools are registered with the state. Other minority educational institutions are registered with the state. So why shouldn't madrasas be registered with the state? What is the problem?
Well, you see, if you run a school, you get a certificate from the government stating it's a minority education school.
Yes.
That is not the case with a madrasa. That is not the case with a madrasa because you don't accept the degrees which a madrasa is given. If I get a 10th class certificate from a school, it is recognized and affiliated to the state board. Here in madrasa, if a Maulana is getting a Alim Fazil degree, that is not recognized by the state government. That is why you have no right to intervene in those madrasas. Please understand, this is simple.
But isn't that exactly what the Yogi government is saying, that it's time to regulate these madrasas, it's time to bring them into the mainstream, it's time to monitor what curriculum is being taught to these children. The more they are brought to the mainstream, the better it is for those young Muslim children who are studying in these madrasas.
Well, you see, the premise of your question is completely wrong. You and the government wrongly assume that the people who study in madrasas are backward, and that is the biggest cause of backwardness of Muslims. No. The biggest cause of Muslim backwardness is the intellectual dishonesty and communalism of BJP and various other secular parties. What I teach in my madrasa, which is not getting any aid from the government, for example, Darul Deoband, Nadwatul Ulema, Darul Ashrafiyya in Mubarakpur, what right have you got to go and check? What I teach is to make them scholars of Islam. Why do you want to? And these madrasas are running openly. They're not being taught under some tunnel or somewhere else. You have no right to intervene. You have a right to intervene in those madrasas which are registered under the UP Madrasa Board. Of that, you have not paid salaries to the teachers from last 5 years. For God's sake, pay those salaries.
You will be the first one to admit.
Listen to me.
Give me 10 seconds. Give me 10 seconds. You will be the first one to admit that the reason why the rate of enrollment of Muslim children in recognized schools, formal schools, government schools or non-government schools, why that is lower than the rest of the community's average is because there is reluctance to send them to those schools. So to that extent, if these madrasas are formalized, if they are brought under the ambit of some regulatory approval, so isn't that good for the community? Isn't that good for education of the kids in this community?
You are completely wrong. I would request you to please read the Kundu Committee report, which was given to Madam Najma Heptullah, the then Minister of Minority Education. I would request you to please read page 134 of Kundu Committee report.
Sir, what did the Sachar Committee report say?
Completely unconnected.
No. What did the Sachar Committee report say?
Sir, you don't know. Sir, listen to me, sir. The Kundu Committee report is the latest report on Muslims' social, educational backwardness. Sachar is very old. I am talking about the Professor Kundu Committee report. If you don't believe me, call once Professor Kundu to your program and say that this member of parliament who's infamous for making 8 speeches has said this, you'll get the right answer.
Let me come to another issue, and this is again a very touchy topic. It has been over the last week or so. This Eidgah Maidan in Bengaluru. A couple of days ago, the Supreme Court ordered status quo. Today, respected Muslim intellectuals like Mr. Faizan Mustafa have written in a newspaper that this was an opportunity for the Muslim community to lend this ground for the Ganpati festival. And we have seen this in numerous places across the country where, premises owned by Muslim bodies have been lent for Hindu festivals. So what's the problem in the Bangalore Eidgah Maidan doing the same? After all, we needn't have gone through this lengthy litigious process.
Well, Mr. Faizan Mustafa is a very learned person. He has been a great professor of the Nalsar Vice Chancellor, and unfortunately, BJP government has not given him an extension, number one. But I differ with Mr. Faizan Mustafa. I agree with Mr. Faizan Mustafa as far as constitution is concerned. But I disagree with Mr. Faizan Mustafa's article in today's Indian Express. Number one, why? That is a work property. And secondly, please tell me in 66 years, you have never put a Ganpati in that place. What pleasure do you get by putting a Ganpati where you have not put in last 66 years? Please tell me. I have been using it for Eidgah, for my namaz. It is protected under 1991 Places of Religious Worship Act. And I'm thankful that the Supreme Court had heard this matter. 3 judges bench have heard this matter and given a stay. Sir, what pleasure one gets, please Zakah, tell me, in last 66 years, you have not put any, no worship has been done over there,
sir,
apart from offering namaz.
Tell me two things.
What is the pleasure you get?
No, you said it's a Waqf property. Waqf was asked to produce the property documents both by the BBMP, the Revenue Department, and even before the courts. They were not able to produce any property documents. At least as far as today is concerned, the Waqf has not been able to show any title deed, any property papers. It is not presented before the court. That is number one.
I am sorry.
Give me 10 seconds. Give me 10 seconds.
No, I will not sit here and listen to all these wrong things. No,
what did I say? What did I say which is wrong? What did I say which is wrong?
Listen to me. I am quoting to you live law. When Mr. Kapil Sibal and Dushan Dave stood up and said, in the same way you have said it's not a Waqf property, he had said you proved, you go to the court and show it's not Waqf property. The state government should have gone to the court and said it's not a Waqf property. What is this? The Supreme Court accepted and they have given a stay on it. Zakka Jacob, you must read, at least read what is being said on the line.
Did the Waqf produce the property papers in court? All I'm asking is a simple question. Did the Waqf produce the property papers in court? Or did it produce it before the Revenue Department of the state government?
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
No.
Yes, they did. And listen to me. No, you must follow live law, and what Kapil Sibal said, you must follow that.
Sir,
please tell me.
We have our own reporters in this very same courtroom you are talking about. No property papers have been produced before the Supreme Court in the hearing that happened 2 days ago.
I will not sit here and listen to your
lies. Why are you arguing on a matter of fact?
When you are deliberately lying.
No, I'm not deliberately lying.
You are
I'm
lying.
happy to be corrected.
You are lying.
I'm happy
you are
to be
deliberately
corrected.
lying. I will not sit here and
happy to be
listen.
corrected
I will not listen to this.
If
I'm
these
sorry.
same property documents are available. Anyway,
you
be that as it may.
Lying.
No, sir, what incentive do I have to lie? This is not some familial property I'm talking about. If the Waqf has the property papers, let them produce it.
You have a huge incentive,
so the whole world will know that it is Waqf property. Anyway, let me go to the next issue. You must be.
Can I rebut what you're saying? You see, you are going hammer and tongs on one-sided. You are speaking as a BJP spokesperson. Listen to me.
Sir, now come on. That's a personal attack. You have known me for a long time. You know that. You know you're being unfair to yourself.
No. I don't know you.
Okay.
I don't know you when you sit on that position.
So yes, okay.
I don't know you when you sit as an anchor. I know you as a person, but not as an anchor.
Okay.
Now listen to me. When Yediyurappa was the chief minister, why wasn't this done? Why is BJP doing it now? Because you have elections in April. You want to communalize the atmosphere. BJP has failed in ensuring that corruption is eradicated.
Okay.
Contractors, thousands of schools are saying BJP is taking corruption. Would you do a program on BJP's corruption in
Sir,
Karnataka?
we have done when the the head of the Contractors Association committed suicide, we did program. I'm happy to send you links of the same. Anyway, let me ask you.
Listen to me.
Let me ask you one final question.
You had called me about this madrasas.
Yes, of course.
You have deliberately.
Sir, my first 10 minutes was about madrasas.
You have deliberately deviated.
No, I'm not deviating.
Listen to me. What did your
first
your
10
person
minutes,
is right here in front of me.
Sir, first 10, 12 minutes were about
listen
madrasas.
to me. What did Akash told me that it is going to be a debate on madrasas?
Yes.
I already agreed.
Didn't my first 3 or 4 questions, was it not on madrasa? It was on madrasa. Anyway, I'll ask you one final question.
Why did you call me for?
Can I ask you one final question, since in the press conference you referred to the Vostok military operations, and you said, Government of India needs to make it clear. Since you brought in an international affairs topic, let me also ask you one other story that came out today, again concerning international relations, which is the UN report on how China treats its Muslims in Xinjiang. I want to ask Asaduddin Owaisi, does he have a comment about it?
Sir, I am one of the few MPs who has been talking about China. And guess what? Surprisingly, the Prime Minister does not even utter the word China. Let the Prime Minister condemn how Chinese are treating the Muslims in that particular area. Let him do it. The Prime Minister is not even able to condemn, we have lost grazing rights of up to 10 kilometers. 10 villages we have lost 10 villages. 1,000 square kilometer losses we have lost to PLA. 50,000 soldiers are facing China in Galwan, Depsam, Hot Spring. And we have the cheek to do a military exercise with China. Is this nationalism? Is this BJP government protecting our sovereignty and integrity of country? That one particular country's armies has occupied 1,000 square kilometers, 10 kilometers we have lost grazing rights, 10 villages we have lost, and you do a military exercise. Is this your nationalism?
Okay.
As an Indian, it embarrassed me to the core.
All right, Owaisi Saab, thank you very much as always. I hope that all issues have been clarified. Thank you very much for speaking with us here on CNN News 18. That was Asaduddin Owaisi, the Hyderabad MP and the head of the MIM, talking about the Madrasa issue, the Bangalore Eidgah Maidan story, and of course what he calls the Vostok operations and why he believes that's an insult to India. Quick break.